What's up, folks? So I'm back to talk to you about season one, probably the only season of Netflix's The Queen's Gambit. You've probably seen me talking about this show a lot if we're Facebook friends. I've been watching it the past few days, kind of tore through it pretty quick. It's about 7 episodes. Uh, in short, it's a story about a girl who likes to play chess, and she's really good at it. Sounds pretty boring on paper, but man, let me tell you, this show is phenomenal. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that this might be my favorite show of 2020. It's between this and I May Destroy You, which was on HBO, stars Michaela Cole. I talked about that pretty heavy while it was airing, but it's between those two, what my favorite show is. In short, like I said, it's about a girl who plays chess. The first episode is basically dedicated to her backstory. I'm not going to go into it because spoilers, but great first episode. Really sets the table for what you are going to come to learn about this character, why they move the way they do, no pun intended, but why they behave the way that they do. So it starts off great with a really great introductory episode. It's entirely backstory. You don't even see the main actress. I believe her name is Anya Taylor-Joy. I want to say, did I write this down? Anya Taylor-Joy. She was actually in The Witch as a smaller child, and I absolutely love The Witch. I don't like horror movies, but I thought The Witch was excellent and one of the better suspense/horror films of the last decade. So she was in that as well. So if you're interested in horror, I highly recommend The Witch. Anyway, back to The Queen's Gambit. You get that first episode of backstory, and then we move into her actually competing at chess. And that's pretty much every episode. Like, she meets people here and there. She's training for tournaments and participating in tournaments. And it sounds dreadfully boring, but I gotta tell you, it's like everything about this show is absolutely phenomenal. It gives me very heavy vibes from Mad Men. If you guys watch Mad Men, it was set in the 60s, and this show is as well. And the costume work and the cinematography are absolutely amazing. And let me tell you, what they do with Anya Taylor-Joy as far as giving her the right angles and the right lighting and the right placement within the frame, they do such a great job with making her look drop dead beautiful every single. Like, she looks like something out of a magazine or out of a movie or out of a commercial, or like, it's amazing, like what they do with her. She looks very elegant, beautiful all the time. So I really respect what they did with her as far as, like, again, hair, makeup, costume, cinematography, all that great stuff. She looks amazing. Something else about, even not just limited to her, the show overall is amazing to look at. I think there's just something about that 60s vibe that I think that if you get a good director and a good cinematographer, you're gonna get just some beautiful looking stuff. And I don't know what it was like to walk around in the 60s, but man, like it gives me vibes that I'm just like, man, I would have loved to have been alive during this time. But absolutely love the look of this show. You have great acting across the board. Not too many big stars you'd be familiar with. Like I said, Anya Taylor-Joy, I've only seen her in The Witch before this. I'm sure she's done other stuff. One of her main competitors is played by the guy that played Jojen on Game of Thrones. And I think that's pretty much everybody that I recognize out of this show. There might have been a person or two that I might have recognized their face, but I can't say like, oh, I remember them from blah, 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 blah. So don't really remember too much there. But there's really not too much else to say about this show. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, you kind of just got to watch it and experience it. Because there's no way I can explain it to you without spoilers that will make it sound as good as it is. I can tell you all day, like, the acting on the show is phenomenal. The directing is phenomenal. The writing's phenomenal. The look of it's amazing. And at the end of the day, it's about a girl who plays chess. And like, there's a lot of, I don't know. Do you guys care if my hand movements come into the frame like that? I don't know. Who cares if you care? Whatever happens, happens. But on paper, it just doesn't sound that interesting. But I think it's such a good character study of a girl who had a very traumatic childhood. She ends up in an orphanage. That's the only spoiler I'm going to give you. She ends up in an orphanage, and how she evolves from such a tragic background to where she ends up in her chess game. It's amazing to watch that character progress through this world and through these competitions. It's incredibly engaging. Like I don't know, I can't do anything but heap praise upon it. I'd be shocked if it doesn't get some Emmy nominations next year. So it's really difficult for me to sell you further on this show without spoiling it, but take me at my word as someone who considers himself to be something of an expert in not even an expert in like television and film, but an expert in recommending shit that I think is good. Trust me when I say, if you watch this, you will not be disappointed. It is incredibly intriguing. And also, it's really fast-paced, unlike chess. Really fast-paced for probably about the first 4 episodes or so. It slows down a little bit in those last 3, but it never stops being engaging. It never stops being interesting. It never stops being amazing. The only reason I can't say it's perfect, because I judge shows on a scale of 1 to 5. That's generally how I judge shows. The only thing that I've given a 5 in recent memory was Chernobyl. Anything else that you can think of, I gave that something that you might have considered elite, I probably gave a 4.5 to. So I gave a 4.5 to this. I gave a 4.5 to I May Destroy You. I gave a 4.5 to this current season of Ozark. I gave a 4.5 to Watchmen. So like almost everything I give a 4.5 to. So a 5 is virtually impossible to attain. So when I say I gave it a 4.5, that's very high praise. So highly recommend The Queen's Gambit. It's a quick watch. It's only 7 episodes. It's on Netflix. Everybody has Netflix. I bet you have Netflix, because if you don't, why the fuck are you watching this? So go watch The Queen's Gambit if you haven't already. It's a phenomenal show. I'll be back soon with a review of Saved by the Bell, the reboot, and I'm gonna start looking for a new show to watch. So I have The Expanse that I watch by myself. That's one of my shows. I have Big Mouth, which is coming back on Friday, December 4th. It's an animated show that I really enjoy. I'll be watching that. So I gotta get a show or 2 on deck for my wife and I for us to watch, every night. So whatever that is will probably be what I start covering going forward, along with obviously future episodes of The Mandalorian and anything else that I might be watching. So stay tuned to this. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you find the podcast. I'll be talking about all of these shows more in depth with spoilers on the podcast. So if you're curious to see why does he like The Queen's Gambit so much, he really didn't give me that much information, check for the podcast. So podcast will probably be recorded later this week and maybe up on the weekend, so keep an eye out. But this is kind of like your preview for what's going to be on there. So again, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.